the Sabrina Magic Handbook definitely made a lasting impression on me because whenever I hear the word handbook, and this is for decades now, I've always thought of a book in the shape of a hand because of this book. And to be honest, it's not really got anything to do with Sabrina. The book itself isn't that great in that regard, but it's quite fascinating. I thought we'd have a quick look at it today just in case you've been curious about it, if it's something you've been considering buying. It's not the most expensive or the most rare, but at the same time, it's not like there are a thousand, well, there probably are a thousand copies out there, but it's not the easiest to find. So if you've considered tracking it down or bidding for it on eBay, hopefully this will help you to make up your mind. But I also wanted to immortalize it as well so that I will always be able to look at it because I am a minimalist. I don't keep books. Now I can always look at it back on YouTube. The cover is gorgeous. It's absolutely delicious. I love the design of it. As I said, I always think of handbooks whenever I think of the word handbook. I think of this. It's written by Patricia Barnes-Svarney, and it says it's a do-it-yourself magic and everyday science experiment. So it's not actually about the show in any way. This is the back of the book for anybody who is interested. It was published in 1998. Sabrina was 2 years old at the time. We had 2 seasons when this was released. So although there was enough material for a Sabrina book, they decided to just kind of use the show's name and a wonderful picture of Melissa Joan Hart to sell some science experiments. And hey, if it gets kids or anybody doing science experiments, that's a pretty good win. So I did not pay £3.50 for it. Also, I should point out it's easy, the pages are easy to turn. I did feel like because of the unique shape, it might feel really flimsy, but it's definitely not. It feels like it's very well constructed. So everything's separated up. We have now we're cooking, somebody making magic. Did I see that? Did I hear that? And out of the house. And what we have after an introduction from Sabrina, I should point out my cat is right here. So if she happens to make a significant appearance, I do apologize, but she likes to be sent for attention. So now we're cooking. We have things that are related to food, so you can make magic in the kitchen. And here you have a way to make magical rain in the kitchen and some guidelines on how to make your own rain, which I think is pretty cool. Everything seems to take up double pages, so everything's laid out quite nicely. I do like these little details. I think it just adds an extra touch. Writing with lemon juice to write invisible ink, which is kind of magical. And we have more things like this. Obviously everything in this section is food based. I'm not going to stop on any page for too long, but obviously you can pause it if you want to find out more. The pages are easy to turn, but they are quite fiddly. Then we have somebody, which is all about body-based things, needless to say. Fun fact, use the oils only on the outside of your body and only after you've asked your parents' permission, which is obviously something that's worth remembering. So it's different ways to, as it says there, make the body feel good. Magical tricks that you can do to help you sleep better. So I think there are actually some practical things in here as well, things that can improve the quality of your life, if you like. I will say that I feel like the blocks of text are not very user-friendly that much. Making magic, we have some kind of, as you can see, magical squares. According to Salem, these squares were invented by the Chinese centuries ago, and he should know. He's been around for a long time. They're known as order 3 squares because there are 3 rows and 3 columns. Since the numbers, when added or multiplied in certain ways, equal the number in the center of the square, they do seem magical. Which I guess is pretty magical, I guess. Maths has its charms. But as I was saying before I interrupted myself, I do find that the text is quite blocky. I feel like spacing it out a little bit more or maybe not being quite so text heavy, actually. Not that I particularly mind, but obviously if you're a younger reader and you're not used to reading blocks of text, I feel like it's quite close together. It's not the largest font size, and if you're just looking at it for quick fun, not everybody's going to be inclined to actually read solid chunks of text. Lists are much better, bulleted lists, numbered lists, things that are scannable and easy to read. Um, I love this one. It is obviously not a magic trick as such, but seeing the vase in between the two faces, it's a classic. It's definitely a classic. Um, so obviously, things where it's asking you to make and do, it definitely could benefit from some bullet lists or numbered lists of instructions rather than just reels of text. But generally speaking, things like this, obviously nice little pullouts, things that stand out quite well, little explanations, they obviously work very well. Bottle crushing made easy. You basically have to heat it up and then smush it. Basically, I'm summarizing. So some of them are just the wonders of science, some of them are make and do, and some of them are actually kind of practical and might actually improve the quality of your life. I'm over exaggerating slightly, but it's got a really good mix, I think. I like the colour. I think the purple is just a little less harsh than if it were black. I'm not sure if the camera is truly picking up the colour of this. The camera makes it look more navy blue, but it is. It's more of a purple colour. It's very delicate. It's very easy on the eyes. I think you can kind of see the purple in the camera here. Mini beanstalk. The thing is, these are things where I would literally, as a child, I would sit through and go through this and do all of these things and do all of these experiments. Maybe I would have a notebook and log my findings. But yeah, I think the layout needs some improvement in terms of that's nice. That is very nice. But I think the layout, you've got instructions here. That's a whole chunk of text. Definitely could benefit from some bullet lists to make it more scannable. But then again, these pullouts help the layout as well. So it's up and down. It works both ways, I guess. But the actual design of it, the style of it, the hand is just so. Medora, your head's in the way. It's so eye-catching. It's so appealing. As I said, from my childhood, whenever I've heard the word handbook, I've always thought of this specific book. And I probably always will. If you're a Sabrina fan, it's a nice little keepsake in a collection. It's got nothing to do with Sabrina, really, but it can encourage some fun experiments and some make and do's. It's not perfect, but it's definitely pretty sweet.